Unify TV at Unify Gathering 2020 with Make Them Suffer!
Yeah!
You're all now acting as a rental crowd, so whenever we need the cheers, you all cheers, alright? There we go, alright. It's a bit wet, it's a bit moist out there, legends, but you know, how is it in comparison to Perth, like when you all left?
Very slippery.
Well, Perth was beautiful and sunny and just like very, very regular and predictable with its weather.
Yeah, I mean, well, it is Victoria, so we need to make an understanding an idea that like anything can happen. So,
You know what they say.
So what are you doing to prepare yourself for the fact that it is a monsoon out there? Booker, obviously you're sorted with the poncho. Do you share that between the band members?
Absolutely not. This is my poncho.
It's just for you? Alright, so I can't offer you any cash incentive to have that because my one ripped on the way back down here.
Look, you can make an offer. We'll talk later though.
Okay, alright. We'll do this some secret things behind the scenes. But let's talk about the incredible year that you had last year. You toured the globe, put out some incredible, amazing songs, and you've got us all amped up for what's to come in 2020. So as we sit here in this position, there's 5 years right here now. On the count of three, tell us what we've got planned for this year from Make Them Suffer in one word only, okay? All right. Make Them Suffer 2020 is going to be all about...
Shit.
Album.
I heard shit, I heard feet, I heard big. That's all I got so far. So
I said album, but I think those guys were more on the money.
Big, I said big. I go big.
Disappointment.
It's only disappointing because he's sitting here, unfortunately, talking with this guy here. So, obviously, the album's on the way. And from what we've seen so far with the singles that have been released, are these going to be on the album, or do they serve as standalone singles?
The new singles, are you talking about Hollowed Heart? Like Hollowed Heart 27? Probably not.
Yeah.
We just went about production in a completely different style way. Songwriting was done with Splash Real Money on a producer in LA. His name's Drew Falk. So yeah, we've got our own thing going with the album. So those two songs aren't going to be on the record.
So you're in this position now where you're taking control of the album to release what you want to have, as opposed to sort of in the past relying on other people to sort of influence you with what you should do with your music. Is that kind of where Make Them Suffer is at nowadays?
Yeah, I think we're taking a leaf out of the producer's book this time. I think in the past we've actually, like the last record, Worlds Apart, that was all us. It was self-produced, that was probably the closest record we're going to get to, like really sounding like us, without it coming across the wrong way. Where we took a leaf out of the producer's book. Drew helped us write songs, he helped us arrange them, and it's supposed to kind of like all bulge in this production style that he's got. So yeah, it's definitely different. It's just a bigger. I like to think it's a better sounding record. But yeah, that's just what you get when you splash real money on it.
Exactly, yeah. Do you sort of find yourself like unwilling to compromise? Like you want to continue to make that sound that you guys have produced so far that got you to where you are, but if someone's recommending you go another angle, is there any hesitation in doing that? Or are you just like, look, we trust you, we want to go with what you say?
Well, I don't think we really take other people's opinions into much consideration when it comes to that. It's just like which is another reason why we decided not to put Hollowed Heart and 27 on the album, is we very much like want every album to just be like, we sat down for like 1 month, 2 months, whatever, wrote the whole thing in that one session, and it has its own sound, and whatever comes out sort of thing. So it's not really trying to be or do anything really.
I had one request for this album, that was to have at least one song that had like a porno hate fuck riff, and Nick delivered on that really good. And like every time I hear this particular song, you'll know it when you hear it.
I know the riff.
Hate fuck someone in a porno. So that's what it sounds like. It's great.
So when it comes to obviously doing the research for that kind of sound, did you have to watch a lot of porn in order to do that, or it's all in there from the wank bank of years ago?
It's all intuitive. Yeah, it's all out of intuition.
It's like, what if I was at home and I wanted to hate fuck someone? This is the sound that I would make.
It's actually the whole concept behind the album. Really, it's all about hate fucking generally. So
that's the future of music. I mean, we see albums that sort of represent mental health and a lot of issues along the lines of that. We haven't seen anything that you can hard fuck to at home. So Make Them Suffer, make them pleasurable. Is that what we're looking at for 2020?
Make them hate fuck,
Yeah.
about it.
Make them what?
Hate fuck.
Hate fuck.
Hate fuck, yeah.
I hope my mum never watches this.
Hectic.
That's all right. We'll censor it up at some point or another. All right, so after Unify finishes, because you were touring relentlessly last year, like not only just in Australia but across the globe, are you having a bit of a breather going into this year, or?
Yeah,
Small.
we've definitely worked ourselves. I think we're just taking a dip while something's happening in the background for the record. So
So it's like almost coming. You, obviously, you know, you're under contracts and you can't reveal what's going to happen. Like something's happening soon. We're just in that grace period now of like, let's have a breather before we kick ass and take names again, heading into the rest of the year. That kind of thing.
Pretty much, yeah.
absolutely.
Now, obviously, flying the flag of Perth is a fantastic thing to see. We've seen a rise of so many great, amazing bands from the west side of the country who are speaking out, screaming, and having their names heard. Make them suffer. Obviously, one of the top bands that are flying that flag. Do you feel like more people are paying attention to the west side nowadays because of bands like you, like Carnival, who are, you know, doing their best to go, hey, we might be over here, but like we're still doing big things, that kind of thing?
We certainly hope so. We've got like our mates in Shangri-La that are always killing it, and sort of a newer band really. But yeah, they've got a really cool sound coming out, and Saviour, Conform, are fucking sick. So yeah, I think there's a few bands popping up in Perth that's starting to make a sick name for
Do you
themselves.
reckon you would all be like mentors in that kind of situation? Like if upcoming bands from Perth came to you and say, look, we want to break it out like you guys have done too, what advice would you pass on? Or if you could pass on advice now, what would it be for those bands who are struggling to sort of get recognised by the East Coast?
Just do it. And porno riffs. And just do it. Just jump in there.
Just
Do it.
Don't wait.
Do it.
Yesterday you
Vintage
said tomorrow.
memes.
Jump in there, see what comes out, and you know, who knows, in a couple of years' time we'll be exactly where you are right now.
Yeah, to be billionaires.
All right, well,
More than
it's
likely.
time to wrap things up here from Unify TV. It's a bit wet out there. There's only one thing left to do. Let's strip down, get out there, and do some hate fucking.
Woo!
Make them suffer. Thank you for joining us at Unify TV, Unify Gathering 2020.
Yeah.